Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about plagiarism. What is it and how to avoid it? So this will be the guideline to avoid plagiarism. So what is the plagiarism? Plagiarism is a definition given by the Webster dictionary. To steal or pass off the idea or word of another is one's own to use another's production without crediting the source. Plagiarism means stealing someone else's work and passing it off. In academic writing, you plagiarize when you use someone's exact word or paraphrase their idea without crediting the original source. So, how plagiarism can be explained? It can happen accidentally. Sometimes it applies even if you paraphrase. Using other source is good as long as you cite them. Citing sources shows which idea was originated from which author. Students sometimes plagiarism by accident, even if they don't mean to cheat. To avoid accidental plagiarism, you need to understand how to properly use and cite sources. Plagiarism doesn't only mean copying and passing others' work, it also means paraphrasing ideas or information without citing the source. Using others' researcher idea is part of academic writing. It is important to do so correctly. Citing your sources shows the reader which part of the text are your own and which is the idea originated by other author and how you have explained it further. It also allows your reader to check the source for themselves if they need more information about the particular topic. What will the consequences of plagiarism? It reduces the grade, sometimes failing your course. There might be disciplinary action or suspension or expulsion. Plagiarism isn't only an issue for a student. There has been many high-profile plagiarism scandals outside of universities. An accusation of plagiarism can also have serious legal or political consequences. Joe Biden dropped out of 1988 presidential race after he was accused of plagiarizing his speeches from various other politicians. More recently, Melania Trump has been accused of plagiarizing speeches and publications. In the academic world, the consequences of plagiarism depend on how badly you plagiarized and whether it's believed to be accidental or deliberate. You could be given a lower grade, fall your course, or face disciplinary action from the university. In severe case, in repeated case, you might be expelled or suspended. So be aware that plagiarism is a serious issue. How to avoid plagiarism? So there are three steps that you can follow. Keep a list of all the sources that you consult. Sources include website, video, magazines, books. Note down sources just in case even if you are not sure you will use them. The first step is to keep a track of your sources that you are going to use in your research. Note down the detail of every source you look, even if you are not sure whether it will be useful or not. Not only books and journals articles are sources, you should also keep track of any website or articles or multimedia sources that you consult while doing your research. That include things like YouTube video, podcast, images, and even social media posts. Details to write down. What detail we need to note for citing any source? Author name, source title, publication date, publisher, page number of specific quote or passages, URL or DOI for online sources, access date for online sources. Important detail to note down include the name of title of the source, publication, year, publisher. If you find a specific quotes or pieces of information you might want to use, write down the page number also because while quoting someone's thought, you have to note down their publication name, page number, publisher name, and author name. For online sources, keep a note of the URL of the sources that you are going to use. If possible, try to find out the DOI if there is available. It is mostly available for online journals, book chapters, books. It is also important to write down when you access any online source in case, because sometimes the sources might change. So you have to note down when you had accessed the information. Step 2. Quote or paraphrase. Two way of sharing information from a source. Quoting. Copying the author's exact word, use quotation mark and cite the sources. Paraphrasing. Put the text into your own word, but no quotation mark is used, but you have to cite the sources that you are using. The second step is to incorporate information from your sources into a text as you write. Quoting and paraphrasing are two ways you can use as a source without plagiarizing. You can use quotes and paraphrases to share information in idea from any other sources and provide evidences for your arguments. How other people are thinking about, what thoughts are supporting you, what authors are diverging from your own ideas, and to comment on the work of other researcher and what was the opinion of other scholars. Examples of quoting can be like, according to Darwin, is natural selection act no solely by accumulating slight successive favorable variations. It can produce no great or sudden modification. It can act only by very short and slow steps. So here we are mentioning year and page number because already we have mentioned the author named Darwin. To quote, copy the exact word from the original source. Use quotation mark to show that these are not your words. Introduce the quote and integrate it into own sentences. Quotes shouldn't stand alone as full sentences by themselves. Audience should be able to understand what is the context for quoting it. When to use quotes: to give textual evidence, to analyze the language, or to give precise definition. If you are using primary sources like historical document or literary text, quote to give textual evidence for your claim. If you are interested in the language the author uses, like literary analysis or discourse analysis, quote passages in order to analyze them. Quote can also be used to give precise definition without changing the author's meaning. But don't overuse quotes. The majority of your writing should be in your own words. Always consider whether a quote is really necessary or if it can be paraphrased and properly cited. Examples of paraphrasing, like, according to Darwin, natural selection is a natural process that produces many small changes over time rather than sudden leaps. So here also we are mentioning the year and the page number, but we have written it in our own word. So after understanding their quote, we are writing it in our own word, so it will be a paraphrased. To paraphrase, put the original text into your own word. Don't just change a few words. It's important that the text should be completely paraphrased. If the paraphrase is too close to the original text, you are at the risk of plagiarism. When to paraphrase: to share information, to explain ideas, or show your understanding of the source. Paraphrasing allows you to share relevant information from any sources that you are reading or quoting. You can also use it to explain the author's idea, theories, or arguments on a particular topic. Paraphrasing is usually the best choice to demonstrate that you have fully understood the source. Third step is cite the original source. In text citation, briefly identifying the source, a reference list to give the full source information. Follow a consistent citation styles like APA, MLA, Chicago. Online citation generator can also be used like Joreto and others. The third step is to add in-text citation after each quote and paraphrase. Each citation must correspond to entry in the reference list at the end of your text, where you give full detail about the source. There are many different citation styles. Some of the popular among them are APA, MLA, Chicago styles. Different citation Styles present information differently. For example, some use footnote while others use parentheses for in-text citation. Make sure you are following the styles required by the department. Choose anyone, follow it consistently because some of the journals might ask in a particular format of the reference. There are various citation generation available online to help you get the citation done properly. Mendeley is one, Joreto is another one. These two are very popular. APA citation example. In text citation, recent research has shown that plagiarism is increasingly widespread issue. Smith and Thompson, 2018, page number 34 to 36. And in the reference list, it will be written as Smith and Thompson, 2018, New Challenges in Higher Education, free page. So this will be a complete process of writing the reference. APA is the most commonly used citation style. These examples show an APA in-text citation as well as reference list entry for a book. In-text citation contains the author's last name, the publication year, and the page number of the paraphrased passages. The reference list gives the author's name, initials, publication year, the title, the place of the publication, and the publisher. How is plagiarism detected? So plagiarism can be detected by the university. To detect plagiarism, it can be detected by the journals. Compare your document to database of sources. Detect text that is too similar to other sources. Detect whether citations are missing or not. Plagiarism checking technology compares your document to a huge database of sources, which include books, journals, websites, as well as student paper and these that already have been published or submitted in universities. The technology detects similarity between text. It can recognize similarity in a sentence, paraphrase, paragraphs, even if the words aren't 100% identical. So just swapping few words or changing the order of the phrases isn't enough to avoid plagiarism. The plagiarism checking produces a report with a similarity percentage and a list of similarity fonts. This shows places where citations are missing, where text has not been properly quoted or paraphrased. So this can be a useful tool to avoid plagiarism. Using a plagiarism checker yourself, you can download a plagiarism report when you submit your assignment. If not, plagiarism checker services are also available online. Not all plagiarism checking software are safe. Make sure to use a reliable one. Check if you get a plagiarism report when you submit your assignment. You will often be able to do this and then resubmit it once you have addressed any problem and added your citations and references. If your university doesn't offer this option, there are third-party plagiarism checking services available that you can use yourself before handling over the assignment to your university. Plagiarism checkers are useful for avoiding accidental plagiarism. You can use them to make sure that you are properly quoted, paraphrased, and cited the sources that you are using. So there are a few questions. You still need to cite your sources even when you have paraphrased. Yes. Whether you quote or paraphrase, you need to cite the sources. Plagiarism is always deliberate. No. Many students plagiarized by accident. Online sources do not need to be cited. It is false because you use online sources, you need to cite them. And for online sources, you always have to mention the date when you had accessed the source. Recommended sources for the reader is to watch videos at the youtube.com/track2training for more videos related to research writing and other topics.